Xylarra 5 thrummed with life, its corridors a tapestry of alien languages and customs, a cacophony of cultures mingling under the artificial sky of the space station. Here, amidst the bustling trade and diplomatic endeavors, humanity was still, a novelty, a species fresh to the cosmic stage, attracting both intrigue and skepticism from the galaxy's seasoned denizens. Mark navigated through the throngs, his thoughts a whirlwind of the day's agenda. As a human diplomat, he was tasked with bridging the chasm between Earth and the myriad civilizations that comprised the Intergalactic Council. But nothing in his training had prepared him for the summons. He had just received a personal invitation to meet Queen Xylarra, the formidable ruler of the Xylithian Empire. The Queen's royal chamber was as daunting as its reputation suggested. Alien artifacts adorned the walls, each a testament to the Empire's might and history. Symbols of power were etched into every surface, a silent reminder of the Queen's dominion. Mark stood at the threshold, his heart pounding a rhythm of apprehension and curiosity. Queen Xylarra was a vision of regal authority, her presence commanding the room. Her gaze met Mark's with an intensity that could melt steel. "Mark, the human diplomat," she began, her voice carrying the weight of galaxies. "I have summoned you to discuss a matter of great significance." Mark swallowed, maintaining a diplomatic veneer. "Your Majesty, I am honored. How may I assist you?" Xylarra's expression softened, a rare occurrence that did little to ease the tension. "I am pregnant," she announced, her words slicing through the air like a comet. "And the father, astonishingly, is you." A collective gasp echoed through the chamber, the gathered dignitaries exchanging looks of disbelief. Mark's mind reeled, grappling with the sheer impossibility of the situation. Yet he steadied himself, knowing panic would serve no one. "Your Majesty," Mark began, choosing his words with care. "This is unexpected. How can this be possible?" Xylarra's gaze held his, unwavering. "Our encounter during the summit on Vega 9 was more than a diplomatic exchange. It seems our species are more compatible than previously thought." The revelation hung in the air, a volatile mix of scandal and intrigue. Mark felt the weight of 1,000 eyes upon him, each one evaluating the ramifications of this union. The Xylithian Empire was a formidable power, and its queen a figure of both awe and dread. "With this development," Xylarra continued, "comes both opportunity and peril. Our child will be a bridge between our worlds, but it also places us in a precarious position." Mark nodded, the gravity of the situation settling over him like a cloak. The implications were vast political alliances, cultural exchanges, and the potential for unprecedented cooperation or conflict. He realized that his role as a diplomat had just transformed into something far more personal and profound. "Your Majesty," Mark said, his voice steady despite the turmoil within, "I am committed to navigating this path with you, for the sake of our child and the future of our peoples." Xylarra inclined her head, a gesture of respect and acknowledgement. "Together, we shall face whatever challenges arise. But know this, Mark, our union is not merely a matter of diplomacy, it is a bond that transcends our differences." As the meeting concluded, Mark left the chamber, his mind a storm of possibilities. The galaxy had just shifted, and he stood at the heart of its transformation. He felt the weight of history upon his shoulders, yet also the thrill of forging a new path. In the corridors of Xylarra 5, whispers of the Queen's announcement spread like wildfire, each retelling adding layers of speculation and wonder. Mark, however, was focused on the future, a future where humans and Xylithians might stand together, united by an unexpected bond. He knew the road ahead was fraught with challenges, but Mark was nothing if not adaptable. After all, humanity had a knack for turning the impossible into the inevitable, and he was determined to see this through to a harmonious resolution. The council chamber of Xylarra 5 was an architectural marvel, a vast dome of shimmering alloy that seemed to breathe with the ebb and flow of interstellar politics. Representatives from countless species filled the room, their varied forms creating a kaleidoscope of life. The air buzzed with anticipation, the topic of discussion more electrifying than any had anticipated. Mark stood at the center of this maelstrom, feeling the weight of his newfound role as both diplomat and expectant father. The recent revelation of his impending parenthood with Queen Xylarra had sent shockwaves through the intergalactic community. And now, here he was, facing a skeptical council of alien leaders. A voice crackled through the chamber's audio system, belonging to the council's moderator, a creature with a crystalline form that caught the light like a prism. We convene today to address the potential implications of the union between the Xylithian Queen and the human diplomat Mark. The floor is open for discussion. An elder from the Plaraxian delegation, known for their cautious diplomacy, was the first to speak. This development is unprecedented. What assurances do we have that this union will not disrupt the delicate balance of power? Mark cleared his throat, stepping forward with a steady resolve. Esteemed council members, I understand your concerns. This is a unique situation, but it also presents a rare opportunity for enhanced cooperation between our species. Murmurs rippled through the chamber, some voices skeptical, others intrigued. The Xylithian ambassador, a towering figure clad in ceremonial armor, spoke next. Our queen believes that this child symbolizes a new era. It is not merely a political alliance, but a chance for cultural exchange and mutual understanding. A representative, from the aquatic Selnari, their voice a melodic ripple, added, If our species are genetically compatible, what other potentials might this reveal? Could it lead to breakthroughs in medicine or technology? Mark seized the opportunity to build on this positive note. Precisely. We stand on the brink of discoveries that could benefit us all. Our child could be the key to unlocking new paths of cooperation. The chamber buzzed with a mix of curiosity and caution. The potential for progress was tantalizing, but the risks were undeniable. Mark felt the eyes of the council upon him, evaluating his every word, weighing the sincerity of his intentions. A voice, sharp and skeptical, cut through the chatter. It belonged to a member of the Grothak, a species known for their rigid adherence to tradition. And what of the potential for conflict? This child could become a pawn in a dangerous game. Mark met the Grothak's gaze with unwavering determination. I assure you, my commitment is to peace and stability. Our child will not be a pawn but a bridge. I will do everything in my power to ensure their safety and the harmony of our peoples. The room fell silent, the weight of Mark's words settling over the assembly. It was a promise, not just to the council but to himself and the future he envisioned for his child. The Selnari representative spoke again, their tone contemplative. Perhaps this is a chance to redefine what it means to be allies, to move beyond treaties and agreements towards a deeper understanding. Mark nodded, grateful for the support. Exactly. This is a moment to embrace our shared humanity, or rather our shared sentience. Let's use this opportunity to learn from one another, to grow together. The council deliberated, voices rising and falling in a symphony of debate. Mark watched, his heart a mix of hope and trepidation. He knew the path ahead would be fraught with challenges, but he was determined to navigate them with grace and resolve. Finally, the crystalline moderator spoke again, their voice resonating through the chamber. The council acknowledges the potential benefits and risks of this union. We propose a period of observation and dialogue to better understand the implications. Mark exhaled, a sense of cautious optimism taking root. It was a beginning, a chance to prove that this unexpected bond could lead to something greater than the sum of its parts. As the council session adjourned, Mark felt the eyes of the galaxy upon him. He was no longer just a diplomat, but a symbol of a new era. And while the road ahead was uncertain, he was ready to face it, driven by the knowledge that humanity's greatest strength lay in its ability to adapt and thrive in even the most unexpected of circumstances. The corridors of Xynar 5 seemed to close in on Mark as he made his way back to the quarters assigned to him by the Intergalactic Council. The day's revelation still swirled in his mind, a storm of potential outcomes and unresolved questions. He needed a moment to collect his thoughts, to find some semblance of normalcy amid the chaos. As he entered his quarters, he was greeted by the familiar hum of the station's life support systems. The room was a modest space, a stark contrast to the opulence of Queen Xylarra's chamber. It was here that he could finally let his guard down, if only for a moment. A soft chime interrupted his thoughts, signaling an incoming communication. Mark tapped the console, and the holographic image of Queen Xylarra flickered into view, her presence as commanding as ever, even in digital form. "Mark," she began, her tone both warm and urgent, "I trust the council meeting was productive." Mark nodded, sinking into a chair. "It was intense, but I think we made some progress. They're open to dialogue, at least." Xylarra's expression softened, a rare glimpse of vulnerability crossing her features. "I know this is a lot to ask of you, but together we must navigate these turbulent waters. Our child depends on it." Mark leaned forward, his gaze steady. "I'm with you, Xylarra. Whatever comes our way, we'll face it together." The Queen's image flickered slightly, a reminder of the vast distance between them, both physically and culturally. Yet despite the challenges, Mark felt a growing bond with Xylarra, an understanding that transcended their differences. "There's something you should know," Xylarra continued, her voice tinged with caution. "Within the Xylithian Empire there are factions that may not welcome this union. Our customs regarding lineage and leadership are complex, and some may see this as a threat to tradition." Mark absorbed her words, the implications settling heavily on him. "What can we do to address their concerns?" Xylarra considered this for a moment, her gaze thoughtful. "We must show them that this is not an end to our traditions, but an evolution, a way to strengthen our empire through diversity and unity." Mark nodded, the path ahead becoming clearer. "We need to engage with them, understand their fears and find common ground." The Queen's image brightened, a hint of a smile playing on her lips. "Precisely. And together, we can build a future where our child is a symbol of hope, not division." As the communication ended, Mark remained seated, reflecting on the conversation. The enormity of the task before them was daunting, yet he felt a renewed sense of purpose. His relationship with Xylarra was evolving, growing stronger with each challenge they faced. The door chimed, and Mark rose to answer it, finding a Xylithian envoy waiting outside. The envoy, a dignified figure with an air of quiet authority, greeted him with a respectful nod. "Diplomat Mark," the envoy began, "Queen Xylarra requests your presence in the Hall of Unity. She believes it is time for you to learn more about our customs." Mark followed the envoy through the labyrinthine corridors, the station's ambient noise a constant companion. The Hall of Unity was a grand space, its walls adorned with murals depicting the rich history of the Xylithian Empire. Xylarra awaited him, her presence commanding even in this vast hall. As Mark approached, she gestured to the murals. "These tell the story of our people, our struggles and triumphs. To understand our customs, you must first understand our past." Mark studied the murals, each one a vibrant tableau of Xylithian life, scenes of celebration and conflict, of leaders who had shaped the empire's destiny. It was a history steeped in tradition, yet marked by moments of profound change. "Leadership in our empire is not just about bloodlines," Xylarra explained. "It is about proving one's worth through wisdom and strength. Our child will need to embody these qualities." Mark turned to her, appreciation and respect evident in his eyes. "And how do we prepare them for such a future?" Xylarra's gaze was steady, her resolve unshakable. "By teaching them the values of both our worlds, by showing them that strength lies not just in power, but in unity and understanding." As they stood together in the Hall of Unity, Mark felt a renewed sense of hope. Their journey was just beginning, and while the road ahead was fraught with challenges, he knew they were capable of forging a path that honored both their legacies. With Xylarra by his side, he was ready to embrace the future, confident that, together, they could build a bridge between their worlds that would stand the test of time. Mark and Queen Xylarra embarked on their journey to the neutral planet of Veridion, a world renowned for its ancient and wise inhabitants, the Eldara, who were famed for their unparalleled diplomatic counsel. The planet was a lush tapestry of verdant landscapes and exotic wildlife, a place where the air seemed to hum with the wisdom of ages. Their vessel, a sleek Xylithian ship, glided smoothly through the cosmos, its path set for Veridion. Mark sat in the cockpit alongside Xylarra, the hum of the ship's engines a comforting backdrop to their thoughts. Veridion, Xylarra mused, her eyes fixed on the stars streaking past. The Eldara have guided civilizations through countless crises. Their insight will be invaluable. Mark nodded, appreciating the significance of their mission, and perhaps they can offer guidance on our situation, especially with the complexities surrounding our child. Xylarra's gaze softened, a mix of determination and hope in her eyes. Indeed, our child is not just a bridge between our worlds, but a beacon for what we can achieve together. As they approached Veridion, the planet's emerald surface came into view, a breathtaking expanse of forests and rivers. The ship descended gracefully, landing on a platform nestled within a grove of towering trees. The Eldara awaited them, their forms ethereal and serene, exuding an aura of ancient wisdom. Their leader, a figure known as Elder Kyle, stepped forward, his presence both calming and authoritative. "Welcome, Queen Xylarra, Diplomat Mark." "Elder," Kyle greeted, his voice resonating with a gentle cadence. "We have much to discuss." The Eldara led them through the verdant landscape to a council chamber woven from the very trees themselves, a testament to their harmonious existence with nature. The chamber was filled with a soft ambient glow, creating an atmosphere of peace and introspection. Elder Kyle gestured for them to sit, his expression one of thoughtful consideration. "We have heard of your unique situation and the potential it holds for both unity and conflict. What is it that you seek from us?" Mark exchanged a glance with Xylarra, then spoke with conviction. "We seek guidance on how to navigate the challenges ahead. Our child represents a new beginning, but also a potential point of contention. We wish to ensure their future is one of harmony, not strife." Elder Kyle nodded, his eyes reflecting the wisdom of countless generations. "Your path is indeed unprecedented, yet it is not without hope. The key lies in understanding and embracing the strengths of both your cultures." Xylarra leaned forward, her curiosity piqued. "And how might we achieve this?" The elder considered her question, then replied, "By fostering dialogue and cooperation at every level. Let your child be raised with the values of both worlds, so they may appreciate the richness of their heritage." Mark absorbed the elder's words, feeling a sense of clarity amidst the uncertainty. "And what of those who oppose our union? How do we address their fears?" Elder Kyle's gaze was steady, unwavering. "Fear often stems from misunderstanding. Engage with your detractors, not with force but with empathy. Show them that this union does not diminish your traditions, but enriches them." Their discussion continued, delving into the nuances of diplomacy and cultural integration. The Eldara shared tales of other civilizations that had faced similar crossroads, offering insights that resonated deeply with both Mark and Xylarra. As the sun began to set over Veridion, casting a golden hue across the chamber, Elder Kyle concluded their meeting with a parting thought. "Remember, the strength of your bond will be tested, but it is also your greatest asset. Nurture it, and it will guide you through even the darkest of times." With renewed resolve, Mark and Xylarra thanked the Eldara for their counsel, feeling a profound sense of gratitude for the wisdom they had received. As they made their way back to their ship, the path ahead seemed a little less daunting. The journey back to their respective worlds would not be without its challenges, but they were now armed with the knowledge and insight needed to face them. Together they were committed to forging a future that honored both their legacies, ensuring that their child would inherit a world united by understanding and hope. As the ship ascended into the starry expanse, Mark and Xylarra shared a moment of quiet reflection, their thoughts aligned on the same goal. Whatever lay ahead, they would face it together, driven by the belief that even the most formidable challenges could be transformed into opportunities for growth and unity. The serene atmosphere of Veridion lingered in Mark's mind as their ship made its way back to the Xylithian Empire. The counsel from the Eldara had given both him and Queen Xylarra a renewed sense of purpose. Yet, as they approached the heart of the Empire, the reality of their situation loomed ever larger. Upon landing, They were greeted by a flurry of activity. The palace was abuzz with preparations for an upcoming summit, one that would bring together leaders from various factions within the Xylithian Empire. The summit was an opportunity to address the growing tensions surrounding the news of Xylarra's pregnancy and the implications it held for the future. Mark and Xylarra entered the grand hall where the summit would be held. The space was a masterpiece of Xylithian architecture, a blend of elegance and strength, much like the Queen herself. As they surveyed the room, Xylarra turned to Mark with a determined expression. "This summit is crucial," she said, her voice firm. "We must present a united front and show them that our union is not a threat, but a promise of a stronger future." Mark nodded, understanding the stakes. "We need to address their concerns openly and reassure them that this isn't about changing traditions but about enhancing them." As the delegates began to arrive, Mark and Xylarra took their places at the center of the hall, the room filled with representatives from various factions, each with their own agendas and apprehensions. The atmosphere was tense, the air thick with anticipation. The summit commenced with a formal introduction from the Xylithian Chancellor, a venerable figure whose presence commanded respect. "We gather here to discuss the implications of our Queen's union with the human diplomat, Mark. Let us approach this with open minds and a willingness to understand." A representative from the traditionalist faction was the first to speak, their tone cautious yet respectful. "Our customs have guided us for generations. How can we be certain that this union will not erode the foundations of our society?" Mark stepped forward, his voice calm and measured. "I understand your concerns, but this is not about replacing traditions. It's about building upon them, creating a legacy that honors the past while embracing the future." Xylarra joined him, her presence a powerful testament to their shared vision. "Our child will be raised with the values of both our worlds, ensuring they are prepared to lead with wisdom and strength." The room buzzed with murmurs, some voices skeptical, others more open to the possibilities. A representative from the progressive faction spoke next, their tone hopeful. "This could be a turning point for our empire, a chance to lead the galaxy in a new era of cooperation and understanding." The discussion continued, with delegates voicing their thoughts and concerns. Throughout it all, Mark and Xylarra maintained a united front, addressing each point with empathy and clarity. They emphasized the potential benefits of their union, from cultural exchange to technological advancements, and the opportunity to redefine what it meant to be a leader in the galaxy. As the summit progressed, it became clear that while there were still reservations, many were beginning to see the potential for growth and unity. The dialogue was a crucial step in bridging the gap between tradition and progress, and Mark felt a growing sense of optimism. Towards the end of the summit, a delegate from the Xylithian Council of Elders, a group revered for their wisdom, rose to speak. Their voice was calm yet carried the weight of authority. "Change is inevitable, and it is how we adapt to it that defines us. This union is a chance to forge a path that honors our past while embracing the future. Let us not fear it, but welcome it." The elders' words resonated throughout the hall, prompting a moment of reflection among the delegates. It was a turning point, a shift in the narrative that had dominated the discussions. As the summit drew to a close, Mark and Xylarra exchanged a glance, a silent acknowledgement of the progress they had made. There was still much work to be done, but they had taken a significant step towards building a future that was inclusive and forward-thinking. Leaving the hall, they were greeted by a gentle breeze, a reminder of the calm after the storm. The path ahead was still fraught with challenges, but they were ready to face them, buoyed by the knowledge that they had the support of those who believed in their vision. Together, Mark and Xylarra were determined to turn the promise of their union into a reality, one that would inspire not just their own worlds but the galaxy as a whole. The summit had concluded, but its echoes reverberated through the corridors of the Xylithian palace. Mark and Queen Xylarra found themselves at the center of a burgeoning dialogue, one that extended beyond the walls of the grand hall and into the hearts and minds of their people. In the days that followed, Mark spent his time meeting with various Faction leaders and cultural representatives each encounter a step toward bridging the divide that had initially greeted their union. The conversations were challenging, yet they provided invaluable insights into the concerns and aspirations of the Xylithian people. One afternoon, Mark and Xylarra convened in a private chamber, a space designed for reflection and strategy. The room was adorned with symbols of Xylithian heritage, a constant reminder of the legacy they were tasked with honoring and evolving. Xylarra began the conversation, her tone thoughtful. The summit was a success, but we must keep the momentum going. We need to continue engaging with those who remain uncertain. Mark agreed, his mind already racing with ideas. Perhaps we could organize cultural exchanges or joint projects that highlight the strengths of both our worlds, something tangible that everyone can see and participate in. Xylarra nodded, a spark of inspiration in her eyes. Yes, and we should include educational initiatives, especially for the younger generations. They are the ones who will inherit this new era. Their discussion was interrupted by a gentle chime, signaling the arrival of a visitor. It was Tarek, a young Xylithian scholar who had been working closely with Mark to understand human culture. Tarek was eager and insightful, his perspective invaluable in navigating the complexities of their mission. "Mark, Your Majesty," Tarek greeted, his enthusiasm palpable. "I have some data that might be of interest. I've been studying historical precedents of cultural integration, and I believe there are lessons we can apply here." Mark gestured for him to continue, intrigued by the prospect. "Go on, Tarek, what have you found?" Tarek activated a holographic display, showcasing various instances of successful integration across different civilizations. These examples show that when cultures focus on shared goals and mutual respect, they can create something greater than the sum of their parts. Xylarra leaned in, her interest piqued. "And how do we apply these lessons to our situation?" Tarek highlighted a particular case study, one involving two species with vastly different customs who found common ground through environmental conservation. By identifying a shared challenge or opportunity, we can unite our people in pursuit of a common cause. Mark considered this, his mind racing with possibilities. Environmental projects could be a great start. Both our worlds face ecological challenges that we could address together. Xylarra smiled, the idea resonating with her. And it would demonstrate our commitment to the future, not just for our people, but for the galaxy, with a plan beginning to take shape. They spent the rest of the afternoon brainstorming initiatives that would bring their worlds closer together. The energy in the room was infectious, a testament to the power of collaboration and creativity. As the day drew to a close, Mark felt a renewed sense of purpose. The road ahead was still long, but they were making progress one step at a time. He knew that by focusing on their shared goals and values, they could overcome the challenges that lay before them. Later that evening, Mark and Xylarra took a walk through the palace gardens, the air filled with the scent of exotic flowers and the distant hum of the city beyond. It was a moment of tranquility, a chance to reflect on the journey they had embarked upon. "Do you think we're making a difference?" Mark asked, his voice a blend of hope and uncertainty. Xylarra paused, her gaze fixed on the stars above. "I believe we are. Change takes time, but each step we take brings us closer to the world we envision for our child." Mark smiled, comforted by her conviction. "Then we'll keep moving forward together." Their path was not without its obstacles, but Mark was confident they could navigate them. With Xylarra by his side, he felt ready to face whatever challenges the future held, knowing that their shared vision would guide them through even the most turbulent of times. As they stood in the garden, the stars shining brightly above, Mark felt a profound sense of connection to the universe and to the woman beside him.